Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in on time. You're welcome. If you're here, you're on time, and we're just going to give like 2 minutes for more of your colleagues to join. And once we have a good number, we'll start officially. So welcome, you're on time. Thank you. You can use the chat option to introduce yourself and which country you're joining from. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're joining from. You're welcome. We're just going to give like 1 additional minute for more of our scholars and participants to join. And once we have like a good number, we'll start officially. So today's webinar, just so you know you're in the right place, this is designing a mission statement, and we have our presenter with us today. She's excited to hear from you all. So it's going to be a very engaging webinar. In the meantime, just 1 more minute and we'll have more people joining and we'll kick off officially. Just introduce yourself. Hi, Dixon. Hi, Benson. You can introduce yourself, where you're joining from, and we are keeping that going until we start officially. Welcome, Joseph. Welcome, Glory. Welcome, Rujiatu. Welcome. I love the energy. Please, let's keep it up. Nice to see you all today. Okay. So thank you all so much. We're starting now. My name is Success Eugene, and I'm WMI's Leadership Skill and Development Coordinator. I will be moderating today's session. It's been a pleasure, taking you all through the first week, and now I get to moderate today's session, being the second week and the first webinar for the second week. Now, this webinar is a combined webinar for both focuses, so we have a bigger room today, and I hope it's going to be more interactive than the previous sessions. I want to encourage you to use the chat to engage, and also use the Q&A if you want to ask questions as it comes into your mind during the presentation. So the topic that we'll discuss today is designing a mission statement. For the business focus, you learned about conducting a market research last week. And for the CBO, we learned about conducting a needs assessment last week. But now we are going to be talking on designing a mission statement. So my name is Success, like I've mentioned earlier, and I'll be moderating today's session. And I hope it will be a successful session as well. So I will just give a brief introduction of our presenter. Our presenter for today, as you can see on the screen, is Mary Kiguru. So I'll just give an introduction of her. So please listen keenly so you'd know who would be speaking to you today. Mary Kiguru is a systematic change designer and learning development expert. Over 6 years, Mary has worked with different organizations to address youth employability dilemma in Kenya. She has developed an ecosystem that systematically engages stakeholders to address youth employability. She has led in the design of the Wezesha Journey, a model that guides students in curating their own career paths, and implemented through the Education for All Children effort. Working with universities as the lead designer in the Association for Faculty Enrichment, Mary led a team of professors across East Africa in designing a pedagogical model for employability. And Mary also serves as the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Business Development, where she provides strategic leadership for Education for All Children, developing strategies to empower youth for the world of work. In her portfolio, she has designed the Education to Employment Bridge program that equips the scholars with requisite skills for the world of work. Mary is passionate about youth and their development and guiding them in designing the future they want and striving towards that future. She is a founding member and Secretary General for the Association of Faculty Enrichment in Learning and Teaching in Higher Education. Mary's PhD research is on leadership and governance, focusing on self-leadership. Before Mary comes and speak to us, I just want to use this time to educate us on the pitch competition that will be happening at the end of this academy, and it is open to everybody. So once the registration goes live, the registration for intent to participate in the pitch would only take 2 weeks. So use that 2 weeks effectively, make sure you register, and then make sure your submissions are ready before November 30th. So with that said, I'll hand over to Mary. Mary, the floor is yours. We are so excited to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Success, for that beautiful introduction. I'm really honored to be in this particular space, to be having so many young people interested in designing their own future. As Success has said, I really work with young people, and the model we have introduced is basically designing that future that you want. And I am so glad that all of you are actually doing that by engaging in this particular workshop. So welcome everybody. Let's gear up and get excited about developing that or designing that mission statement that takes us to the next level. It's already good that we have already already been in the workshop. We know we are running a CBO. We have a vision of what we want to change. So today we'll go back to that particular vision and see how we actually actualize that vision by curating a very meaningful and driving mission statement. So on the chat, you have said which country you have come from. You can tell us a little bit more about yourself on the chat so that we also people get to know who is in the room. Remember that this particular space is also a socializing space. You want to network. You want to know who can take you to the next level of your business. So let's introduce ourselves. Let's get to know who is in the room. I've already been introduced, so you know who I am. You can network with me. You can, decide I'm the one who's going to drive your vision to the next level. And that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. So I normally want to maybe brag more about being that person that can guide another person in designing their own future. But the question is, have I designed my own future? Can I successfully say that that's what I have done? As a mentor, I normally say that a mentor normally starts from where they are. And I didn't know much about designing my future when I was growing up. So I have learned this in my late years. So you're lucky that today you're able to design the future you want so that by the time you're my age, you have absolutely succeeded in your career. So welcome. So take a minute. We'll take just 1 minute. Just write something about yourself on the chat that we can know about yourself. Like I have written there about myself, I'm a mentor and coach, what I'm passionate about, and what I have successfully done, designing that particular model, and what have I really become? I'm a learning designer. Yeah, so just state something in the chat, then we can see what are we saying about ourselves. So I know that you had written where you are from, but now just write. What do you think? What can you say you have become through whatever initiative that you're doing right, you're running right now? So I can't see anyone writing something. So Benson, what have you become? What can you say you are? Thank you, Anne. So Anne is the founder of Child Initiative. It's gone away too fast. I didn't read. Oh yeah, she's passionate about education, particularly child education, and I'm also a researcher and a writer. Thank you, Anne, for sharing that. So let's share. What do you think you have, what are you passionate about? And what do you think you have become? Or what can you describe yourself to be today? Okay, thank you, Madrine. You're just from university, but what have you graduated with from university? Maybe that's what you are right now. Not what you aspire to be, but probably what you are right now. What have you graduated with? Roderick is from Malawi, is a social worker, passionate about working with women, GBV, particularly addressing GBV issues. Okay, and they will implement their first project in 2025. Adama, passionate about maternal health. Thank you. And we have Daniel, who is eye health advocate. Let's continue sharing. Just share something so that people get to know, even if you're not it, but what are you passionate about? What do you want to drive as your change? Just share with us so that we get to know, even if you're not there, you're going to be there in 5 years and I will connect with you. Yeah. Thank you, Medrin. She's a nurse. And we have Victor, who has a degree in public health and serves as the chair of the WMI Southern Sudan Fellowship and founder director of Lift Up Community Initiative. Thank you so much, Victor. So let's continue sharing. And please note, this is a networking space, so you can take a moment and see the people you are with in this particular space. So then for a minute, and this you don't have to really share, but we can share one expectation. What do you want to take away with you today? By the end, by 5 p.m., what do you want to have to take away with you? So just write in the, again, you can share in the chat or you can write in your notebook. Yeah. So what is your expectation today? So you have done all the workshops you have done. You have developed the vision for your CBO. You have done everything. So today, with that business plan, what is it that you really expect to take away with you? Okay. I'll take the name that I can easily pronounce. So Kun, you said that you expect to craft a mission statement and okay, so we're still having people telling us about themselves. Medical doctor, that is Karima. We have Benson, Fikachu company, and passionate about leadership. Okay. Yet to be a medical doctor, it's okay, Ntioma. That's what you aspire to be, and that's what you're learning right now. And your passion is helping the poor, educating the youth. So thank you. So with this, with what you aspire to be, what do you expect to gain from today? Just think about that. So you are aspiring to be a medical doctor. You want to address the issues of the poor. So what do you want to take away with you today? To build a mission statement, yes. You're passionate about what you want to achieve in the future. So you want to design a mission statement in line with my passion and what I want to achieve in the future. Thank you, Anne. Okay. Thank you for responding to that. So fill your template where you're writing right now on your notebook that by end of today, I'll want to craft a mission statement for me to achieve what I want to aspire in the future. So just write that one down somewhere to be able to craft a mission statement to achieve what I want to aspire. That's what I've seen from most of the chat over here. So for me, by the end of this session, I would like you to be able to really understand the importance of a mission statement. I want you to be able to design a clear mission statement for your organization. If you don't have an organization, for yourself, you know what you want to be, you want the change, you know the change you want to bring about. So with that in mind, are you able to craft a mission statement for yourself? And how can you craft that? Normally we are talking about a mission statement for an organization, but you can think of yourself as the organization. So how can I craft a clear mission statement for myself? So that is my goal by the end of this. That's what I want to see everyone craft and be able to share with us today. So welcome everybody to our session today. So we in my program, and what we are going to cover today is basically we are getting to know each other through the chat. So continue sharing about what you become or what you aspire to be, so that we can get to know who is in the room and how that person can help me achieve a vision. Normally, I say in this world, you need to collaborate for you to get to where you want to be. And you need the social capital, which are the people around, but you need to know what is their strength so that I can utilize that particular space. And WMI is actually providing that opportunity to get to know who is in the room. Our approach is more human-centered in design. We'll talk about what does human-centered design really mean. And then we craft that particular statement. And then we'll have a moment for those of us willing to share out, to just share and get feedback on their mission statement. Then we can have a question and answer at the end of it. So is there anyone who has a question or something they want to clarify? So I think people can put up their hand. I hope I can be able to see the hands when they are put up, or you can pose your question in the chat and then we can be able to respond to that. So I am so glad that here we have people who are still maybe in school, but they have something that they're aspiring to do. We have people who've already started an initiative, and there are people who are sure they're going to start an initiative or something starting in January. They're already starting to do their strategic plan from 2025. So I think I have the right group in the room. So what is really like human-centered design? Uh, like most people start enterprises or organizations to solve a problem, but a problem only affects human being. So by being human-centered, normally what we talk about is that I'm thinking, if I think of a problem, I'll think of of one person or even a group of people that is affected by that particular problem. If I think of that one particular person, what is their real problem, and how can I be able to solve the problem for that one person? If I'm able to solve the problem for that one person, then I can be able to solve the problem for so many other people because it affects thousands of other people. So human-centered approach is that I start with a persona, or the persona can be a person or it can be a community. So I start with that particular person who is affected. Say, for example, I'm talking about poor health in my community. Then I'm thinking it is a mother, many mothers dying because we don't have gynecological support in my community. So my aim is to solve that particular problem so that I reduce the death of mothers when they're giving birth. Then that is the problem I'm going to address. But I'm solving that for the women in my community because you're talking about maybe 3% of the women die at childbirth. So that is the issue I want to address, and it is affecting a certain kind of people, it's women. Yeah, so that is what we talk about being human-centered, thinking of a persona. So how can I solve that problem? So that problem can be solved in many ways by probably educating the women on how to get proper health and where they can get the health. It can be an advocacy kind of a thing that I will lobby in my local government that we have a proper hospital in my neighborhood, or I can become the doctor. Yeah. So if I start from that, I start evaluating what are my strengths. So if the problem is death of mothers and I'm not good in medicine, then I can be an advocate. Yeah, maybe an advocate in the sense that I can be able to lobby for the to come to my community. I can educate the women on where to get the right to seek for assistance for their problem to be solved. So I want you to take a small moment right now and think really deep. It'll take like maybe 5 minutes. Allow us to take 5 minutes to just think deep. What is the problem? You can think, what is the big problem that you really want to address or would like to address? What is the issue that you're addressing if you have a CBO? If you're a medical doctor, is there something that you really think by becoming a doctor you're going to solve? Or you can think, what is the one thing I want to change in the world? What would that be? And then think, what then would be a very ideal situation? So let's take like 5 minutes and write it down. If you have a question, I'm on the chat. I'm looking at the chat. and I'll be able to clarify anything you don't understand. So we are taking 5 minutes. Thank you, Gideon. Yeah, this has come at the opportune moment. As you've just finished your degree, yes? And you're visioning your future. So what is the one thing with a civil engineering degree? What would you like to change in the world? Or what problem would you like to address? So I hope you're crafting something. Okay, so I hope you have crafted that. Okay, so I see Adama saying, I'm a medical student and I'd like to address issues of maternal and child mortality. Okay, so just think, Adama, what would be an ideal situation? If you have solved the problem, what would be an ideal situation for you? Okay, so Ali, you would like to see sustainable and innovative designs? Um, what is the real problem you see in the building environment in Kenya? Are they not sustainable? And are the designs not innovative? So that is the issue you want to address or to change maybe the scenery you're seeing in Nairobi. Yeah? So what would be an ideal situation for you? Okay. Okay. Zikra is a recent medical doctor. Okay. Shaping the built environment and improving the quality of life through sustainable, innovative designs. Please, Ali, put that in your document, that shaping up to the end of that. That's a good statement over there. Okay, so thank you. Thank you. So now that you have the problem you want to solve or the thing you want to change in the world, and you have imagined that ideal situation. So that becomes, let's convert that to a vision, because without a vision, you can't have a mission statement. And that's what I was telling Ali to put his down. We're going to take an example because the rest are moving very fast. So I had seen what Ali had written. Okay, so if you take what Ali had written, now it has also disappeared. But if you take like what Ali had written, shaping the built environment, that is his vision. We take that as an example. So that is the vision he has. If shaping the built-in vision, you have to see he is disturbed. Probably the problem is when he looks at Nairobi, because I'm from Nairobi, in most of our sustainable and innovative, buildings in Nairobi. So that is your vision. That's what you see as an ideal situation. Yeah, a beautiful scenery and all that. That's the ideal situation. So you take that as your vision. So I hope all of us have that we know that ideal situation. That ideal situation is what is our vision. Yeah. So you're thinking about, so who does it affect? Yeah, that problem, who is it affecting? Who would be benefit from me doing that? Because that's the person who is going to buy into your idea. That's the person who will engage you as their architect, as the civil engineer in their construction. So who does that benefit? Think of the person who is most affected by that. And how will they benefit by me offering this particular service? Just think of one person. I remember we were saying that if it affects one person, I'm able to convince this one person, then that I'm able to design something for this person and convince them that it solves their problem, then I'm solving problem for a million other people and they will buy into my business. Yeah. So how will they benefit? I had given an example there, but I'm going to take Ali's example because he's looking at the problem that buildings are so bad because probably we don't have civil engineers and architects who advise people when they're making buildings, even if they have little money. So he's looking at how can I be able to, how can I have the vision I have of beautiful buildings with people with low income. So the people I'm targeting are not the people with very high income, but they can be able to afford to make nice buildings. How will they benefit? By taking my services? That means they'll have buildings and they can have a regular revenue. People are attracted to whatever it is that they're making because it's a beautiful environment and they can convert any environment into a beautiful environment. So my vision is maybe a particular area as well. So maybe I'm talking about Isili. I'm talking about maybe Buruburu. I'm talking about Kibera. I want to see beautiful buildings. So how can I be, who is the persona there that I'm thinking about? Maybe it's a person who makes at a most 10,000 Kenya shillings a month, but they can access credit and they can be able to buy into my whatever. With a social, social enterprise, you're improving people socially, but I mean, they're doing businesses that help them improve themselves socially. So what is your vision? What is your ideal situation? So for Ali, his ideal situation is that beautiful environment, beautiful buildings, they are sustainable and they're innovative. So they're not made of matopes. They're not made of weird bricks. They're made of materials that are long lasting. They can last 1,000 years. So once you have your vision now, you have crafted your vision. We've already done that through that particular process. Then how do we craft now a mission statement? Because I want us to spend a little bit more time in crafting that particular mission statement. So my vision is very broad and it can be something that I might achieve in 10 years. It might be something I can achieve in 5 years. It can be something I achieve in 2 years. But I can decide my vision is for 2020 in 5 years time. So by 2029, I will have achieved that, or 2030, or it's even something I'll be remembered for. Maybe it's when I'm 80. But let's make our vision and not so far into the future. Let's make it maybe something I can achieve in 5 to 10 years from now. So how do I craft a mission statement around that? So first of all, where is it? Where do you need a mission statement? So on my screen, this is on my right. I think it's on your right as well. So first of all, it has to be that which it communicates what your organization will do, but it also communicates what you can be able to do as a person. So you're a medical doctor, you're a person, you don't own a hospital, but you have a personal mission statement that clearly communicates to you and anyone who comes around you of what you can be able to do for them. You'll want to be maybe a consultant, you want to be, and you're looking for a job. You need that mission statement. Yeah. So it is a guiding of how you're going to be able to achieve your vision. It helps you. So I have a vision. I've graduated with a degree in medicine, and I'm addressing child mortality. I think we had someone say the child mortality. And so what if I want to measure that more children live beyond 5 years, then I have to be very specific. I want to make sure that I'm addressing something with a timeline. So if I want to do that, then what do I need to start doing right now? Yeah, what are the things I need to do right now as a medical doctor interested in maternal health? So am I going to be maybe like really like in hospital working to address the issues that are affecting women? Do I need to health, taking care of themselves? What is it to empower women, to educate women, to provide health care? What is it that you're going to do? So it has to be a way that you're able to, a way that defines the path for you to achieve that particular vision. It communicates your commitment to that vision. Yeah, so that you're committed, you already know that you can curate a path towards achieving that vision. And it helps you to give you a roadmap, because it's based on that you'll have annual, you'll have your goals, you'll have your outcomes. It's from the mission statement that you'll have all that every year I can be able to measure my success. What have I been able to achieve? What have I been able to do? And it provides a value system to your organization. So remember, it's a value system because people want to know about your value system. They want to know about your philosophy. Your philosophy is that particular commitment that I am committed to make this happen. I have a vision, and then I know how to make this vision happen. It communicates to you and to the world. So this statement has to be very clear. What is it that you're going to do? For whom? Remember, I talked about the persona. How you do it and how you achieve it. Yeah. So remember, there are 4 things in that particular statement. What you will do, for whom you're doing it, how you do it, and how you achieve it. And all these have to be measurable. It has to give a very clear message, very concise. You should be able to communicate the purpose of your organization and your purpose for life. How do I realize my vision? That means I have thought through and I know that I can do this. And remember, you can't just change your mission every now and then. What you do around a mission statement is that you set outcomes. You have outputs. You have objectives around your mission statement. But it has to be a lasting statement. At least it should last as long as your vision. If your vision is for 5 years, also your mission statement has to be 5 years. Then at the end of the 5 years, you'll measure, have I been able to achieve my vision, and to what percentage? Maybe if I have achieved my vision up to 10%, then that means probably my mission statement wasn't really like helping me get there. So I can evaluate my mission statement and review my mission statement, but still retain my vision. But probably also your vision has changed. So it's a good way that you have a good mission statement that helps you measure the success. So in short, it has to be very simple. It has to be concise. It has to be clear. It has to communicate the purpose for which you exist, not just as an organization, but also as a person. It has to be something that you remember. If you can't remember it and people around you can't remember it, then it is not simple, it is not concise, and it is not clear. It has to be authentic. So it just comes out of you, like when you think of your vision, built environment, sustainable and innovative buildings. Yeah, it comes from your heart. It's something that you're going to easily remember. It's the same thing now. How do I achieve that? So Ali will say, first is maybe doing empowering people to, I don't know how you achieve that, but you can decide, what is it that I can be able to do right now that I have beautiful and sustainable and innovative buildings. Maybe what I need is us to empower people and to train people on designing. Maybe it's actually me designing for them. Yeah. So what is it that I can be able to do right now for the people? So I have given two examples because I want us to get into really how to craft that particular statement. So I have an organization called CELDI. This is an organization that I'm engaged in with a lot. So they empower, their vision is actually to see families that are self-sustaining. So instead of, like, I've put the two organizations because they're doing the same thing but very differently. CELDI's vision is building sustainable livelihoods. Building sustainable livelihoods. EFAC is actually like empowering change makers, yeah, leaders when they come into the program. So how does CELDI do its building sustainable livelihoods? Yeah, they empower women. They are actually working with women to empower them economically in rural areas by providing entrepreneurial training and coaching. EFAC, to produce those change makers, provides an education to employment program by providing scholarship and mentoring to bright disadvantaged Kenyan youth to foster leadership, economic opportunity, and social progress. Yeah. So what are they doing? What is the thing they're doing? For CELDI is empower women. So empowering can be training, providing loans, yeah, access to credit. What is EFAC doing? Providing education, access to education. Because an educated person becomes a better leader. Yeah. So how are they doing all this? Yeah. So EFAC is providing scholarships and mentoring. CELDI is providing entrepreneurial training and coaching. Yeah. So, but the whole statement again, how do they achieve this? Is it measurable? Yeah. So you can get to know how many women entered into your program. They are from rural areas. So the person who benefits is from the rural area, not from the urban area. So they have their target group. They do trainings. So that's how they for rural women. Okay, so they will show this by the economical empowerment. When how many women are actually starting their own businesses. For the education for all children, they provide education to that. Then how do they do this? With the scholarships and the mentoring to the disadvantaged youth so that they can improve themselves economically. So think the vision you have right now. What is the one thing you want to do? How do you want to do it, and for whom? Okay, so we can take 10 minutes to do this, and I'll leave this screen on so that you reference it, yeah? Because it summarizes the 4 points. What will you do to address the problem? How will you do this? For whom will you do this? And what do you want to see as a result? So we can take 10 minutes to do this, but if you have any question, please do ask. I will go to the chat to see if there are any questions. So we can start with Zakira because that's the last. I would like to address the issue of non-communicable diseases among impoverished communities in Ghana. To achieve this, I aim, so your vision is to eradicate communicable diseases. Right, Zakira? You can put a hands up if I'm correct about that vision. Okay. To achieve this, I aim at reducing the incidence of complicated cases presenting to the hospital for treatment. So my ideal solution is to set up a health-based organization aimed at early detection. So you haven't started this, right, Zikira? Zikirila Sokun? Okay, you're in the process. So your dream, if I'm correct, and you can write this, my vision is to eradicate non-communicable diseases among impoverished communities in Ghana. How do I do this? So how you do this, because I'm reading, to achieve this, I aim at reducing the incidence of complicated cases presented to the hospital for treatment. So are you going to say to provide health care at the grassroots? Yeah. To provide healthcare at the grassroots so that there are not so many cases going to the hospital. Okay, so I see a question. My vision is to eradicate malaria infection among those under 5. So your vision is eradicate malaria infection among those under 5. That is your vision. So how would I do this? So just think of what is the real cause of malaria. Think of a community. Remember, you have to think about the community as your persona. Why do you have so much malaria in that area? Do you have so many mosquitoes because there's water? There's those pools of water or a lot of plants? Because to eradicate malaria, then you might have to are you able to deal with killing the pests that bring about malaria? So that you can say, to train people on hygiene, keeping the environments clean. So maybe you'll start by training health workers. Yeah, to train health workers. So that they're dealing with the women in the local areas. They're dealing with the families in local areas in addressing, the things that bring about malaria. Yeah. So your what is maybe educating people. Educate on addressing causes of malaria. How will you do this? By building capacity of health workers in the area to train the women on how to deal with that. Okay, I don't know why I'm going to women, but it's the community, it's not women. So for you, it would be the local communities. Are you dealing with a specific community, and who'd be the ideal person? So maybe you actually targeting community health workers. Yeah, so that the community health workers are your multipliers to reach the larger community, and that way you might be addressing the issue of malaria infections. What will you want to see as a result? So maybe you're seeing for every 10 families in that community, you have one health worker that helps them deal with malaria. Yeah. So the what is the reduction of malaria in the area. By doing this, by building capacity of maybe health workers, you're thinking of them as multipliers. You're thinking of the small communities where this is most affected. And your results is to see at least for every 10 families, you have one health worker that guides them. So, with that particular mission statement, you're able even to be able to ask to seek for funding, because there are results that if this is what we'll do, we'll make sure that we have more children living beyond 5 because they're not dying of malaria. For us to achieve that goal, and you have the statistics of the number of people affected in the community, by training multipliers that reach to families, because I can't reach the families myself, there are too many. But I target to have, at least if I have a population of 2,000, then, and I intend that a health worker reaches 20 every quarter, then these are the number of health workers I'll be able to reach. So it's also something that is quantifiable and measurable. Okay, let me see. Okay, so again, for Vianis, again, you have the similar problem. For you is to eradicate hepatitis B. Yeah, if that is a big problem, maybe it's a vision for the next 5 years, but the next 5 years, we're not going to have hepatitis B in my community. Why are we having so many? You have to ask yourself, how are we having so many cases of hepatitis B, so that you can get your what to do. And then you can get to know, if this is what I want to do, then how will I do it? Yeah. So the what is maybe vaccination. Vaccines are necessary, but also, like, yeah, maybe that's the what about hepatitis B. How will you make sure that everybody is vaccinated and accepts vaccination? Remember, we have fear of vaccinations. And who does it really this affect? Is it everybody in that community, or is it a certain kind of people? Are they the children? Are they the women? Are they the men? Or is it teenagers? Who does it most affect? And then what is your target? What results do you want to see for sustainability? Okay, so I can see Karima has already designed that. So let's have people like Craft, you can share it on the chat, but also I would like maybe even, I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can allow you, if you want to share your vision, you'll share your vision in like in 3 minutes time. So I want you to I want a few people, maybe we can have 3 people share your vision, how you achieve that vision, that is your mission statement, and what you'd like to see as a result. So I'll give you 3 minutes to just write that down. At least for the health space, we have quite a number of questions. I mean, a lot of, not questions, but people who have already have a vision. So just craft that statement. Then in 3 minutes time, let me have volunteers, 3 volunteers that can share. Daniel, you'll be one of them.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for taking us through the webinar. Can I speak now?
Yes. Do I need to stop sharing my screen so that you can be seen?
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Daniel, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, madam, for taking us through this webinar. I really learned a lot of things. I have a lot of questions to ask. For mine, an optometrist. I just recently graduated, and I saw that there's a need to create awareness about preventable blindness. For example, I've seen a lot of cases where people walk into the clinic, but there's little to what we can do because, for example, glaucoma has caused blindness. I noticed some people for over a very long period of time, say 7 years, 8 years, they have been blind, but they have nowhere to go, and because they are not aware that this thing can be prevented, and also there are solutions to it. So I felt that it's time for me to do something about it, especially those in rural communities. So from what you have explained and what you have put us through, I've been able to come up that my mission statement is to prevent avoidable or needless blindness. And this I do by going to those communities, creating awareness to first of all, dispel the fear or the traditional old ways of doing caring for their eyes, and also conducting visual screening, to screen for sight-threatening diseases, and also create an avenue or advocate avenue for them to have access to more sight restoring interventions, especially in those rural communities in Nigeria.
Ah, thank you so much. It's very nice. The what? Prevent needless blindness, right? That is the what in this particular statement. For
Yes,
whom? The rural community in Nigeria.
in Nigeria. Yes,
Yeah, the how? Creating awareness. You see, that's the how. Then you have the items of the awareness. You have this dispel skepticism, conduct visual
yes,
screening, and provide sight eyeliness. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. So, and then it is, and you're also providing, access to eye care services in rural communities. That allows you to be able to see how many people actually access this, right? First, you'll get to know how many people get engaged, the people you're creating awareness, and how many actually end up to access the eye care services, yeah? Because they are aware. So that is a very good mission statement. It actually gives you a guideline, and it shows people you know exactly what you want to change. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. I think someone else also had shared another one. My mission statement. Anne, do you want to share loudly? Anne or Sukun? I see Anne and Sukun. Who is ready? Okay, because we have 8 minutes to go. I can maybe read what I have on the screen right now. We have Sukun, who has to eradicate non-communicable diseases among impoverished communities in Ghana. So the what is eradicate non-communicable diseases for whom impoverished communities in Ghana. So he says this is due to inadequate health access and education. So do you want the how to be educate or allow for access
Hello.
or both? Is this Zakun?
Yes,
Or
please. The idea is
or
for both to
oh,
educate
okay.
them and to provide access.
Okay. So by formalizing and setting up a health-based organization, that will be the vehicle you will use, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So that is also very good. So advocate, oh yeah, you have stated down there the how. Advocate, educate, and undertake screening exercises at early detecting. So again, it provides also a framework where people will have to come. Remember that you have to be able to show them the impact that you're having. Okay, the number of people that actually come in to that. So the NGO provides the framework for you to be able to see how many people are coming for screen, how many people you're educating, how many people you're advocating. You can advocate for a whole community, but how many actually get educated sufficiently to seek the services? Yeah. So thank you also, Sokun. I think I had another one as well. Maybe even success. Did you see another one that had come in?
Yes, I see one from Anne, and she's able to
Yeah, I was looking for the one for Anne. It disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had wanted Anne to be the. Anne, do you want to present that to talk about it?
Yeah, I want to talk about it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Annie on the floor.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I want us to take us through your mission statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
You actually asked us to look at our vision and what inspired us. Actually, I'm looking at the vision of helping children acquire basic education because it's much of a challenge. I also had that challenge, especially children coming from large families and financially challenged homes. They are not able to sustain themselves in school. So they mostly go into child labor and they don't get education. They just go into trading and the rest. And increasing illiteracy in the community. So I said, okay, let me start up an NGO that can support children to at least acquire basic education so they could learn how to read and write. So that's how I started Train a Child initiative, which is aimed at helping children to acquire basic education, to reduce child labor to a minimal, and also career mentorship for children. And in addition to that, we're also looking at building reading cultures in children from rural communities because we noticed that children from rural communities don't have access to libraries. Their reading cultures are quite poor, especially children that attend public schools. So we are targeting these schools to start up community libraries where they can have access to books and then reduce child illiteracy to at least to a minimal in Nigeria here. Thank you.
So your vision is to make sure that you increase the literacy level in your community.
Yes.
And then you're
Yes.
doing this by providing access to reading centers, right? For children.
Yes.
Yeah, for children,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so you have a center where they're coming in. You're providing that particular space, yeah?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're already doing it, or you want to do it? You're already doing
I'm
that,
already,
right?
yes, I'm already doing that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's also just scaling that. So again, your vision is clear where you want to see yourself, but you have to have also now the measure, if you have been doing it, like the number of children that you are able to impact, how many come to your center. So you're providing that access to, you're helping them improve their reading culture. You're providing the space, and it's specifically for children. So thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that. So I have not read, I've read most of them, and I'm seeing that we have crafted a very good statement that basically shows the what, I had on my screen, yeah, that shows the what, how you will do it, and for whom, and you're also able to share the results. We didn't go into the details of sharing the results because that's where you have a monitoring and evaluation, and that's how you're going to convince supporters, but also buyers of your vision, of your organization. If people have to invest in you early and trust you to make buildings for them, they have to have testimonials of people you have helped. So that's why impact is very necessary for you to craft that, that your mission statement is something that can give you measurable results. It has to be smart, just like you set you normally set your SMART goals. Your mission statements have to be that. So with that, I really want to thank you all for participating. Whatever you have written in that chat, translate it to your book. Remember, it is your vision. Have your vision. Then how do I achieve this vision is my mission statement. And I want to conclude that after the mission statement, have your monitoring and evaluation framework. How will I measure? Because how I will measure the impact is what is going to convince somebody to invest in your organization, want to buy it. You can make business out of it. So if you don't have something that is already going to give you the results, then it becomes a very hard sell. So I hope that this has been helpful to all of us, and we have been able to learn something that we can actually implement towards the end of this particular workshop, and you can use it for what success invited you for, to pitch. Is it at the end of the 2-week success? So that framework at the end is going to help you. Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, I muted. Thank you very, very much, Mary. This was an awesome presentation. and I'm sure the participants were really engaged. Thank you very much to everyone for putting their mission statements in the inbox. And we are very excited to see how you would, use this mission statements to craft your pitch during the pitch competition that's coming up. So please don't forget this mission statement. It's something that you're going to have to present alongside your pitch. It's going to be like a 3 minute video where you talk about what you do and why you need funding. So the mission statement is a good way to, get the attention of the people you're pitching to. Thank you very much, Mary. We have a question here. I think we have Anthony raising his hands. I don't know if his hands are down now. Okay, his hands are down. Oh, he raised it again. Anthony, would you like to ask the question? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can.
I have a questions. We who in the agriculture sector sometimes that, but if I want to develop a mission statement on the microfinance with our farmers in Liberia to enhance sustainable development, how can I go ahead by doing that?
Okay, I don't know. It got disrupted like a noise on my end. And John, please.
Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Hello?
I didn't hear
Okay.
There's a bit of disruption.
Okay, first and foremost, I thank you for the nice presentations. And we who in the agriculture sector, my question has to do with how do I go ahead designing a mission statement that will suit my farmers, especially in the area of microfinance. Nowadays in my country, Liberia, we fight for food sustainability, and the major problem we're facing is in microfinance. Our local farmers are now sustained, and they do not have access to local macro activities. So how can I craft a mission statement with these problems I face in my country, Liberia?
All right. For one, I would advice to have a vision of an ideal the vision is an ideal situation. So your ideal situation is access to financing for agriculture. Yeah, access to finance to develop the agriculture sector, so that then you can say it's to provide maybe the space for them to borrow credit. Yeah, how do I do that? Maybe by engaging different players or even starting the microfinance yourself. But you also have to have a target group. It's not everybody. Yeah, for who are you really targeting to access this? First of all, you have said it is the farmer. So you're working in a rural setup probably. So you're looking at the farmer. So you want to make sure that this farmer has access to credit. Yeah, so what is access to credit? The how is building that framework. Maybe you have an institution where the farmers gather and they form a collaborative that they can accumulate funds, yeah, to lend each other. Or you have a trusted organization that can invest in you for you to be able to lend. Because what you want to create out of this is a way that they will borrow and they will pay back. Yeah, and that there's a trust system that if I borrow and I'm guaranteed by all these people, they can actually trust me to pay back. So also creating the framework where there is trust that people can borrow money. You are accessing them to that money. And then you have a target. Like I want to start with, maybe there are 1,000 farmers, but I want to have 100 farmers to start off with. But first of all is that you want to, what is the access to credit for farmers in the rural areas where it is not. But for that to happen, you have to start off the microfinance yourself, or have partners that can start, or you can be able to convince somebody that can actually partner with you to do that. Yeah. So that access, it has to be an institution that does that. And then it has to target a certain group of people in that rural area, not everybody, because of the trust issue when it comes to credit. When that trust is built, in the long run, it can be open to every other farmer. And the data that now you collect is what helps you to bring that framework. Yeah, I hope this helps a bit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. So we have two more questions, or we have three actually. So I'm just going to read them just quickly
Okay.
so that we would wrap up. So we have one question from Ifunaya. She's asking if it's possible to add achievements of the organization to the mission statement.
No, in the mission statement, you don't put the achievements, because the mission statement is what leads you to those achievements. Yeah. So that is something that you bring back later, but it has to show that it can be successful. But the achievement should not come in the mission statement. Remember, it has to be simple. And remember, your achievement is something that is ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is ongoing. So your achievements are going to become more and more as you go. So it doesn't come into the mission statement. Yeah. So the reports per year is what show that you're actually achieving your mission by the achievement, but it doesn't come to the statement itself. Even the core values are separate, yeah, because I see there's also like the core values, yeah. Your core values, and they are not in your mission statement. The mission statement should be simple: the what, the how, for whom. Yeah, that has to be very clear. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that answers Ifunaya and Sokun. Sorry, I don't want to pronounce the other one wrong.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your questions. We have a question from Victor Lee. He mentioned that his organization thematic programs include economic growth and power, education, health, and climate change and environment. How does he craft a mission statement to cover all the thematic programs of his organization?
So we first have to understand what is the vision of the organization, because these are the pillars that help that organization, right? So they're trying to economic growth and power covers agriculture. You see, like empowerment is, so the mission, the mission could be actually to empower by having something on economic growth, yeah, educating the people, providing health, and yeah, these are the programs that are within that. So you empower the community to improve their livelihoods. Okay, so covers livelihood and agriculture. So these are the thematic areas. So your mission statement would actually have to start with empower. The what would be the empower? Yeah, empower people through an education by providing programs, by programming actually. You're programming, addressing different areas that affect livelihood and agriculture. Okay, you're getting me? Empower is the what? Yeah. The how is providing programs or programming. You're programming around thematic areas that affect the community, because then it comes to defining those particular activities. It's economic growth, it's education, it's health, and climate change. So it's by programming. That is the how. For whom? So whom are we talking about? Yeah. So you will be able to define the population. So that will cover the programming, the programs that you have on the ground by programming, because programming is actually an activity that you do. And this can change. Today, you may be addressing economic growth and education and health and climate change. Next year, you might want to add mental wellness, yeah? So it's addressing the needs by programming based on the needs of the community, the emerging needs of the community. So I had seen also another question at the very beginning about mental health in Nigeria. Again, for EBI, it will be simply about the mental health. What do you want to do? Is it create awareness about mental health? Is it actually treating mental health? Yeah. So, there's that creating awareness. There is that the educating on mental wellness. Yeah. So what is it about mental wellness you would really like to address? So start with that. And then how would you do that? Yeah. So is it developing educational programs around mental wellness? Is it by gathering people to just talk about, like bringing young people to address their own issues on mental wellness? And for whom would you be doing that? Is it for the entire population or certain populations? Okay. So how does one make sure that a mission statement reflects and uploads the core values on an organization? So it is on the how, basically. Yeah. The how should be something that shows your commitment. Remember that the how is the commitment. But the core values is something you also state outside the mission statement. It's not included in the mission statement, but sometimes you can have some basic, like when you're dealing with children under 18, there's something that has to come out in your mission statement that you, by developing, mentors, like for that are of integrity, they are honorable because you're dealing with children. Also, like in medical, some core values have to come there. It is the how. I'm treating maternal health by training health workers who are of integrity and committed. Yeah. So sometimes the core values can come up in your statement by not making it very complicated.
Thank you so much, Mary. I've seen a lot of comments in the chat appreciating you for this interactive session. So I just want to give you like a minute to give any final words, if you have any, to the participants before we wrap up.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, I thank you all for participating in this, and I thank you, Success, for giving me an opportunity to actually interact with people who are very visionary, and not only visionary, they have a commitment by being able to craft a statement in 10 minutes, a mission statement in 10 minutes. So my urge is that let it not just be a written statement, let it be something that you actualize. And by making sure that you're actualizing on this, have that particular monitoring and evaluation framework. The fourth aspect, how do I measure what I'm achieving? Because that's what's going to help you also like be able to convince yourself and the world that you can be able to do this, because they know that I will be able to start somewhere. I'll start with 100 to grow them to 1,000, the impact. It is what is going to convince someone to buy into your social enterprise. So for me is that have the commitment that this is not just a statement on paper, it's something that I'm going to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have really learned a lot from you. We really appreciate your time and your efforts in making this session a very, very memorable one for everyone. And on that note, thank you all so much for attending. You still have webinars this week. Business, you have a webinar on Wednesday, and for the CBO NGO, you have a webinar on Friday. The information will be shared on the WhatsApp groups. We appreciate you all for joining, and I think we can call it a good day now. Bye-bye.